Hi, everyone. My name is Kendall Rawls. I'm the Director of Development with the Rawls Group, your host. If you want to skip the intro fluff and get to the answer, go ahead and fast forward to around a minute 20 or so. Today, Dan Schneider, a succession planner with the Rawls Group, is filling in for Dr. Merlo to answer questions he has received from family business owners across the country. Before we get started, you may be wondering, who is this Dr. Merlo dude? The doc is the straight-talking alter ego of Lloyd Rawls, who is the founder of the Rawls Group. An alter ego may seem a little silly, but it falls right in alignment with one of Dan Schneider's favorite mottos of do good, have fun, and make money. So in the spirit of doing good and having fun, we at the Rawls Group interact with a fictitious alter ego, Dr. Merlo. Now back to the topic at hand, which focuses on how much should I pay family as employees? Since Dr. Merlo is a fictitious character, he is nowhere to be found. Thankfully, Dan had some free time in his schedule.
So Dan, let's get a big question out of the way. Are you Dr. Merlo?
No, I'm not Dr. Merlo, and I'm not the Dread Pirate Roberts either. I'm Dan.
And you're just perfect as Dan. So, as I assume you're aware, Dr. Merlo has been on a big writing spree again, publishing a broad diversity of responses from family business owners. We've been trying to reach him to discuss his writing, but he's been unresponsive. So could I ask you to read and comment on some of these excerpts?
Sure, I'd be glad to do that. It's an honor to be associated with Dr. Merlo and help him out a little bit.
Great. In front of you is the answer to the question, how should I pay my children as employees? Go ahead when ready, and please offer any insights from your experience working with business owners.
Well, thank you, Kendall. I'll be glad to do that. And I'll begin just by giving you some of Dr. Merlo's answers to that question. And he tells us that the answer to the question actually has several facets. I understand that there's a need to support a standard of living for family member employees, or FMEs, but I do not recommend you pay a family member any more than you would pay a common law employee under comparable circumstances. There are no secrets within a business. Your longstanding, hardworking, dedicated employees will find out if a family member is being overpaid and resent them for their privileged position. And based on the experiences that I've had in a lot of family-owned businesses, then Dr. Merlo is right on point. And one of the ways that we help organizations carry out the principles that he's talking about include creating a salary band or a salary range for the positions in that organization. That way, the owners have an opportunity to pit their children's salaries against market rates, as opposed to just to that heartfelt feeling that they have to try to make sure that they have a good lifestyle. And by doing that, they can take into consideration any outside experience that the child or children may have gained as employees of somebody else's company. If they don't have any outside experience, then you should actually pay them in the bottom quartile of the position's pay range. When and if their performance merits additional pay, then and only then would you give them a raise. If they're in a sales position, then you want to use the same pay plan that you would use for other salespeople. Now, Dr. Merlo also tells us that your kids have formidable challenges just doing their job and earning the respect of employees. He suggests that we not magnify this challenge by setting them up for resentment. Furthermore, we're hindering the development of competent, capable, and committed successors if we pay extra for ordinary. Hopefully, as Dr. Merlo says, your children want to be extraordinary and are motivated to work for the pay they deserve. Therefore, any ordinary pay for ordinary should be the custom, and make a big deal of any additional compensation merited as public recognition for the extraordinary. If they are unable financially to live the lifestyle you want for them, give them a gift, but do not let them think they are entitled to extra pay simply because they're a family member. Now, once again, based on our experiences with clients, one of the things we've found is that entitlement is a real danger. And if you need to compensate people a little extra or give them some extra cash so that they have the kind of lifestyle you'd like them to have, then you can supplement their earnings by giving them gifts. The amount that you gift on an annual basis is going to change as a result of the 2020 elections. So you're going to want to stay current with your CPAs and some of your other advisors on the current tax regulations so that you can maximize the impact of your gift. You might also want to remember that lifestyle is a choice. And there is certainly nothing wrong with your children learning and realizing that one of the keys to independence is financial freedom. So you don't want to be so generous that you take away their initiative. And Dr. Merlo, as we come back to his answer, also suggests that there's a difference between a family member employee and a successor candidate. That's important to understand related to developing pay plans. An FME considers employment in the family's business as just a job with favorable surroundings. They do what's expected of them, they show up on time, but their job isn't the center of their life, and they will not try to exceed expectations. An FME will try to make as much money as they can with limits to the hours they devote or the amount of stress they endure to earn a little extra income. They may also have a short suit in judgment, interpersonal skills, or critical thinking ability. Generally, I think that Dr. Merlo's views on the family member employees as opposed to family member successors are right on point. And certainly that's been our experience. And there are some family members, even if they do have talent, who simply don't want the responsibility that comes with being a successor. So it makes life easier for everyone to pay them, the family member employees, at a market rate for the position they're filling. At a later point in life, we found that sometimes their roles change, and the successor role may have more appeal to them than it does at the present. If it does, and if they have the talent, then their compensation should be reconsidered. And Dr. Merlo says that a successor candidate considers employment in the family business an opportunity to make their mark in the world and perpetuate a family legacy. They arrive early and stay late to earn the respect of their coworkers, and they're really not satisfied unless they are exceeding expectations. Money, titles, and recognition are important to them, and they generally portray an attitude of just put me in the game, coach. I don't care what position I play. Just put me in the game and give me a chance. Most important, they have demonstrated as an FME for several years that they have the potential enthusiasm, the work ethic, the humility, the judgment, and the interpersonal skills to be a competent successor. That certainly has been our experience. And we think, and I guess I would believe, that Dr. Merlo is highlighting the difference between people who see what they do as a means to a living and people who see what they do as a way of life. The latter group includes the cream of the crop, and they usually make the grade as successor candidates or as non-family members who could easily become part of the succession bridge, while the family member successors are learning the behaviors, attitudes, skills, knowledge, and experience to become leaders in their own right. And I think if Dr. Merlo were here giving you this, part of what he would tell you in the rest of his answer would be that when you have confirmed a successor candidate, you should pay them both for the job that they are doing and for the effort expended to become a qualified successor. Once they've earned respect from employees and managers, provide a financial supplement for the extra effort they will have to devote to learning how to be a manager and a leader. At this point, their attitude is not in question. They have earned respect, and you are not concerned about the opinions of employees or managers when your successor candidate drives up in a new car or begins to demonstrate a more expensive lifestyle. In fact, at this point, the confidence you show in them every day sends a strong message to longstanding employees and managers. This signals they should join the party or be at risk when it comes to facing their new future manager and leader of the business. This management party consists of those participating in training, encouragement, coaching, and mentoring, and developing a qualified successor. So I would have to say that the good doctor is on point in everything that he's suggested, and it certainly coincides with our experience in working with families.
Thanks, Dan. Is there's one thing that you'd want the listener to walk away with, what would that be?
I think the one thing that I would want them to remember is to pay particular attention to family members who view working for the organization as a way of life and not just as a means to a living, because it will impact everything that they do, and it will encourage and engage the people that they're leading to be as deeply committed as they are, to the extent that a non-family member can ever be committed. But the key is make sure your successor views this as a way of life and not just as a means to a living.
Thanks, Dan.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Do you have a question you want answered by an expert? Feel free to reach out directly to Dr. Merlo or Dan Schneider at the email addresses listed on the screen. Continue listening to the series now or come back later for more. Each topic featured may want you to learn something new.